Joining me to look at the implications of the new act is Dr. Usman Jankara Jimada, Deputy Commissioner for Insurance Technical at the National Insurance Commission, NICOM. It's a pleasure to have you on the program, sir.
Thank you, Ineka.
First of all, congratulations on the passage of the Niira.
Thank you.
Now, how important is Niira 2025 for Nigeria's insurance sector?
Thank you for that question. I would like to start by saying Niira is actually a landmark reform for the Nigerian insurance industry. It's the most comprehensive insurance law that has ever been enacted into law in Nigeria. And I say this because what it's done is to consolidate on all the laws. About 6 different laws were consolidated into one, and then repeal those ones that were obsolete. Let me add that the Nigerian insurance industry has been with the current law for about 2 decades plus. And what it means is that those laws have become obsolete. But importantly, Niira actually then positions the industry to be able to more effectively provide its role or discharge its role as the last line of defense to the nation's economy. And what do I mean by this? Niira makes provisions for digital insurance. It also makes provisions for very transparent claims processing, and also clearly articulates consumer protection requirements that are meant to protect Nigerians who will patronize the Nigerian insurance industry. But of more importance to us is the fact that Niira is an attempt to really position the Nigerian insurance industry to play its pivotal role in the $1 billion economy as aspiration of Mr. President. And at this point, I would like to again reiterate and express the Commission's appreciation to Mr. President for doing that which has taken us about 23 years. For ascending to the law at this time. Importantly, I must also appreciate the chairman of the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions, Senator Mukailu Abiru Adetokunbo, for sponsoring the bill and for leading the cause in the process of enactment of this bill. Of course, his counterpart in the House of Representatives, Honorable Ahmadu Usman Jaha, also takes some credit, and we express our sincere, profound gratitude for what they have done for the Nigerian insurance industry. Thank you.
All right. One of the Act's critical measures is the significant increase in minimum capital requirement for insurance companies, 25 billion naira for non-life companies, 15 billion for life insurance, and 45 billion for reinsurance. How will these new thresholds ensure the financial soundness of operators?
Okay, thank you very much again. I would like to clarify that the bill had articulated a minimum capital requirement of 10 billion for life, 15 billion for non-life, and 35 billion for reinsurance companies. And the essence, but more importantly, is the fact that the new bill, and which is why we've all celebrated the bill in this industry as bringing in an innovation. It has now aligned even regulation in line with global best practices. And what do I mean by global best practices? It is around what we call risk-based supervision, to the extent that the capital that you have that has been stipulated by the law is now to be done on the basis of what we call risk-based supervision and risk-based capital. And what that means is your capital is going to be to the extent of the risk exposure that you bring to the industry. So in this case, for small firms, we've had concerns around how will small firms survive. But what the risk-based capital actually does is that if your risk is low, you then do not need bigger capital. If your risk is high, you then need capital that is commensurate to your risk. And of course, it gives the Commission the discretion to then apply the capital requirements on the basis of the risks that are entities pose to the industry. So that's what the law has done, which is something that is innovative and something we have been clamoring for. Thank you.
Now, some critics might argue that the higher capital requirements might stifle competition or burden smaller insurance firms. How would you respond to such concerns?
Okay, thank you, Neka. And as I've said earlier, the essence of risk-based capital in this case is your capital is going to be to the extent of the risk you pose. So if you are a smaller entity, the capital that will be required will be lower and relative to the risk you pose. If you're a bigger entity, the capital that will be required will be relative to that. But beyond that is the fact that Niira also allows NICOM the leverage to now license what we call digital insurance provider. In the insurance industry, they are called insurtech and web aggregators who the law, by the enactment of this law, has now empowered the commission to license these entities. Depending on the risk they pose, their capital might be much lower. If the risk they pose to the industry is higher, their capital might be bigger. So it does not necessarily pose any challenge to small players in the market. Thank you.
All right, the unlicensed insurance agents, according to the Act, now face a 6-month jail term, if I'm not mistaken, yes, or a 500,000 naira under the law. How does NICOM intend to enforce this provision, and what message does this send to operators in the industry?
The message is sent, and I will start from that, is that the era of defrauding Nigerians has gone for good. The essence of agencies are that they collect or sell products to people, and they then take this product that they sell to insurers, or rather they sell these products on behalf of the insurance companies. Now, if you have agents that are not licensed, it poses a lot of risk to individuals and members of the public. What it means is that you even buy policies that do not exist, or you are defrauded. So what the law has done is a welcome development. It is something that is not tolerated anywhere in the world. It is actually meant to protect Nigerian consumers, and as such, we welcome that. One of the ways we intend to enforce is actually to come out hard on this entity, to collaborate with law enforcement agencies, as well as leverage technology, which is one of the things now, to be able to better enforce and ensure that players who are not licensed do not operate in this market. Thank you.
Yeah, the Act also emphasizes zero tolerance for delays in claims settlement and introduced policy holder protection funds to cushion the impact of insolvency. Now, how do these measures address long-standing issues of consumer trust in this sector?
Thank you, Neka. And you've highlighted a very significant and important issue that has bedeviled the Nigerian insurance industry, and that is around trust and confidence in the market, which basically had happened as a result of players who had had one form of distress or the other. And what that has done by the Niira is that it has now created very transparent claims processes with specific timelines that the Commission is even required to come in, issue specific timeline for some classes of business. For the special risk classes of business, the law then allows a higher timeline, but also allows NICOM to determine on the strength of it. And there's a reason for it. If I have a motor accident and there's a rig blowout, it won't take the same level or the same duration of time that you need for both. So what the law has done is to recognize the peculiarities of this and then empower NICOM to come in to regulate, create timelines for this, and then insist and enforce compliance with this. But beyond that, you've talked about an important element of it, and that is the policyholders' protection that has been an issue in this industry. You would realize from records that most of the challenges we've had with consumers are basically around companies that have gone distressed. And because they are distressed, they are unable to meet their obligation. What the law has now done is to say that you need to have in place a policyholders protection scheme that will now be managed independent of the Commission and of government and of even the sector. And so you're going to have a fund manager, you're going to have frameworks around how this fund will be managed. In terms of funding, the Policyholders Protection Fund will be funded by way of contribution by insurance companies. And what the law has provided is 0.25% of the premium that insurance companies get. So for us, we are excited about this because one of the challenges you would note recently, we took action against some companies. Meeting the obligation that resulted from there has been an issue. However, with this law, we are very confident that that is no longer going to happen. It is going to be a thing of the past. Nigerians are not going to be left without settlement of claims or their obligation in the event that these companies, for some reason, go into distress. Thank you.
That's great. Now, let's talk about compulsory insurance. Are there policies that will be made mandatory, and how will compliance be enforced?
Thank you very much. Niira has actually made some policies mandatory, as was in the 2003 Insurance Act. However, Niira has gone further. We now have, of course, motor third-party insurance has been compulsory. Builder's liability was compulsory. Occupier's liability has also been compulsory. Niira now introduces a very, very important element, and that is petroleum third-party compulsory insurance. And what that means really is that the tankers that move fuel from whether Dangote or Port Harcourt refinery, wherever, across this country, I'm sure there's been a lot of news around petrol tanker explosion, the number of people who have been killed and all that as a result of these explosions and all that. And what that has done now is to insist that these tankers cannot even move without having in place appropriate insurances in respect of the likely risk or the damages that they may cause to Nigerians. And so for us, we are also very excited about this. Of course, there are issues around enforcement. We've been collaborating with law enforcement agencies. We intend to improve on that. What the law has done, which is innovative in this case, is to now empower the Commission to be able to enforce this compulsory insurance. The law has even empowered the Commission to seal off buildings or to stop the conduct of any business that poses risk to members of the public, but for which they were supposed to have compulsory insurances and do not have. So for us, this is actually one of the novel components of the Niira 2025.
So how will NICOM drive market digitization and improve consumer access?
Thank you very much again. As I said earlier, the Niira now recognizes the fact that insurance can be done through virtual platform or electronic platform. And to that extent, it now recognizes web aggregators that provide a sort of platform that you can compare products. Consumers will then have the benefit of selecting from variety of options, and it then allows for virtual or electronic filing of complaints as well as settlement. It then also allows electronic means of even filing complaints, not just with the companies, but also with the Commission. It also requires that, what we call insurance technology firms. That these are companies that use technology. We can now also license them by Niira, and by that license, they can then operate, provide insurances that are more easily accessible, particularly for our Gen Zs and the younger ones who do not like the papers, the need to visit offices and all that. So in your comfort of your house, you can then access, various options of insurance, and you can then take on insurance. So we are also excited about this, and we believe that this is actually going to ensure and make insurance access more accessible to Nigeria in line with the financial inclusion strategy of the federal government. Thank you.
Finally, and very quickly, sir, what is your message to Nigerians who are yet to embrace insurance as a critical part of their financial planning? Very quickly.
Thank you very much. I would just like to say to Nigerians that the era of insurance do not pay claims. Insurers do not pay claims have gone for good. Today, insurance companies settle claims. The commission is now empowered to enforce. It is now empowered to even stop entities that are not settling claims, stop them from doing business. It's now empowered to take action against companies, and we have done that in the recent past. And we just want to reiterate that the insurance industry of today has gone beyond the gimmick of fine print, and that is why the Niira has then come up to insist on very clear, transparent processes for not just claim settlement, but as well as even the policy wording, as well as engagement with clients and all that. And so for us, we just want to assure Nigerians that the Nigerian insurance industry is ready for business. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Usman Jankara Jimada, Deputy Commissioner for Insurance, NICOM. It was a pleasure having you on Business Express.
Thank you very much, and do have a great day.
Thank you. We now